We're at Gordon Parks High School in St. Paul.
My name's Paul Krieger. I work at Gordon Parks High School. I'm a teacher and a curriculum coordinator. If someone were to say what's alternative about the school, we do things like this in the community.
We spent the last 5 Fridays, was it 5?
Yes.
Planning this park event. We talked about a lot of different topics and students really came together to design and organize everything that happened here.
We wanted to teach them how to really understand wealth and how to gain wealth and assets. But one thing in particular that we wanted to teach them was how that process was marginalized and discriminated against certain people of color.
I think a lot of times people will think about racism, for example, as a person does something or says something or thinks something, and redlining, racial covenants, those are not people. Those are like systems, those are banks, those are government.
So we just spent one class period talking about racism in housing, specifically redlining.
Redlining was a practice, in a way it kind of still is a practice, where predominantly people of color who live in certain areas were not allowed to get loans.
Students really got fired up about some things that Mara was teaching, having to do with economics and housing, and what Kalik was there to bring.
And it was actually one student in particular that said we should help teach about these topics by creating a game.
They were learning about redlining and one of the students said, hey, we could make a game about this.
Shout out to Terrence, by the way. So he thought of the idea.
Paul Krieger asked me to come in and talk with the students and help them design this game. You'll see many different stations representing neighborhoods that our players live in. Others are representing locations they go to try to ultimately get a house, which will win you the game. But what they don't know is the system is rigged. So we'll start out with neighborhood cards. We deal one to each player. They'll find out what neighborhood they live in, and they'll find out that some of the neighborhoods have better advantages than others. Trying to go get into college, get a job, eventually get a house. They'll be rolling these gigantic dice based on what neighborhood they live in. The dice are going to be kind of weighted in their favor or not. For those who are less advantaged, one of the ways they can win is by changing the rules of the game. In other words, changing the laws at the Capitol to get more people to come with them to the Capitol and roll their dice together. And they're going to learn the rules of the game by going out and exploring. So it's not a traditional type of game where you know all the rules ahead of time.
The whole point of this game is not just to bring awareness to these issues of structural racism, the things that were done in our banking system, in our school systems, in the housing system, but to also see how if we collectively come together and amplify these issues, we can really make a difference.
I think it's great what they've done here, providing opportunities for kids, for the students to be involved in creating.
And I loved what one of the students said up on the mic, saying that we're all colleagues. Project-based learning, we're all working on it together, so we're all colleagues.
The things that they've done here with their students, we hope to be able to use that to help other schools do similar things with their students.
Don't count these kids out.
Right.
They did a great thing today and they did most of the work bringing it all together. They will be powerful leaders in our community, and I think a lot of times they have maybe felt discarded by their community.
They know they have a voice when they do things like this.
Don't limit your dreams. That's what I would say. Don't limit your dreams.